just remember a time where I had a YouTube channel and I was like reading word for word for word from the script because I was just like so overwhelmed. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I kept losing track of what I wanted to say. And it's like I couldn't get back on track. If I would lose what I was going to say, I couldn't get back on track. And I was just so overwhelmed with what even do I do on this channel? What is my channel about? You know, I didn't know any of those things. And so it was very overwhelming. I didn't get like many views, if anything. I don't think I had any views on that channel. I probably had like 5 subscribers, which was nice. 5 subscribers is amazing, but I also don't think that like those 5 subscribers were really watching my videos and everything. I think it was such a different time too. So people would just subscribe to you just because, you know. So when I created this channel that I'm on right now, I knew that I wanted it to be very different from the last few channels that I had. The reason why I had to read from a script, the reason why I was just so confused and so frustrated, so overwhelmed, I was constantly moving the camera and everything around, trying to get the best angles. I was buying all this lighting and equipment, trying to, I don't know, get the best lighting and everything. You know, I was following all of these suggestions that I saw from other small business owners who were like, you know, get you a tripod, get you a ring light, film everything that you do. And it never worked out for me because I was like, you know, I'm very shy and very introverted. So filming everything that I do, like going outside and filming every little thing that I do, just it wasn't me. And every single time I tried to do that, it just felt so frustrating and so overwhelming to the point where I would just give up. And I was giving up on my channel. I was giving up on my small business. And I felt like I was giving up on myself. It just caused me to be in like in such a depressive mode all the time, constantly. I mean, this was too before I learned a lot of like emotional regulation and everything. I was just like depressed and sad all the time, just moping around the house, feeling so down, so defeated, like so defeated. I'm trying all of these things and nothing is working for me. You know, I've done all the steps. I've done all I can do. I was just feeling like, you know, maybe it's just me, you know, maybe I'm not good enough. None of the things that I was telling myself and convincing myself of was actually true. I didn't know enough about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to post on social media. You know, I didn't really know what my brand or my business actually was, like what it meant. I didn't know who it was for because I didn't have an audience then. I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know all of these different things, these different steps and stages that you need to go through first before you get into like all the marketing, before you get to like showing up here on camera. A lot of small business owners face this as well, is the feeling like, you know, it's them or they don't know what to say. They don't know what to post. I see that one a lot. Like when I'm scrolling through comments and stuff, I see a lot of small business owners saying like, well, I don't know what to post on social media. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. So that's why I wanted to sit down and do a walkthrough with you of the steps that you can take today to start to build your brand, to start to build your business, begin to come up with like content ideas. Please stick around to the end because yeah, I have something to share with you. It's basically an exact replica of all the steps that I took to get to the point where I'm at now and all the things that I'm describing in this video. So hopefully you'll stick around to the end to hear about all of that. But anywho, let's go ahead and jump into the notes because yeah, it's a few steps. Okay, I'm laying like this for a second because my back hurts sitting up. But this step doesn't really have to take a lot, you know. I asked myself some basic questions when I was trying to figure out like who I am. You know, I would ask myself things like, where do I see myself in, you know, the next year, the next 6 months, the next 3 to 5 years, or maybe even the next 10 years? Like, what do I want to be known for when I leave this earth? Which might sound a little, it might sound a little morbid, sorry, but you know, like, where do I see myself? What do I want to be known for? What type of legacy and things like that do I want to leave behind? And I would also ask myself things like, you know, what am I actually good at? Like, what skills am I actually good at? We have these thoughts like we're not good enough, you know, and I think that I used to have that thought a lot, like I'm not good enough or I'm not good at anything. And the way that I figured out what I was actually good at is to stop just broadly asking myself, like, what are you good at? Like, that's a hard thing to try and like decipher what you're good at. So instead of just, kind of giving like this broad term or this broad statement, I started to think about like, what are my soft skills and what are my hard skills? So soft skills, like, being a kind person, being good at communication and things like that. And then having hard skills, like I might be good at photography or I might be good at, using Canva. Like those are hard skills. And this is what I did. I created a list of all the things that I was good at. So all of my soft skills, I wrote those down. And then all of my hard skills, I wrote those down. And that really helped me to see like, oh, so I do have skills. I am good at a lot of things actually. I would also take things that I've learned from my past jobs that I had. I don't care if it was a temporary job or not. Skills that I utilized when I was in school, in college, or junior high, wherever, grammar school, any skill sets that I had, I wrote all of those down. From there, you can start to like think about how you can utilize these skills to build a business, to create a brand, or to even post on social media. I'm trying so hard to find a comfortable place to sit in, but anywho. Ooh, and another big thing that I had to ask myself was like, what do I genuinely care about and what are my values? It started when I went to therapy in like 2020, after I had I like to call it a breakthrough. My therapist asked me about like what my values were. And at the time, I didn't know about, values and what that even meant. Nobody really instilled that in me to understand what my values are and what I care about and what I want. When she brought that up to me, I was like, oh, so this is what having values are. And it's basically like having morals, having standards. And when I dove into that list of things, I was like, well, I care about this or I believe this. If you just start with the words I believe, and then you can fill it in. So like, I believe in being a good person. I believe in equality for all. I believe in being a genuine person. Just genuine in my approach, because I genuinely believe that. I believe in being genuine in my approach because people can feel your energy. And I always say that energy is everything. And then later on, I went back and I refined like, well, why do you believe in that? And I turned it into basically like a little sentence. So like, I believe in being a genuine person because your energy is everything and people can feel your energy. And I put that on my website. I use that in social media, and it's a part of my mission to do that, to showcase that. And I really hope that people, feel that. Step number 2 is, what do you enjoy talking about? So like, ask yourself, what are the things that you enjoy talking about like often? What do you talk about with other people? What do you find yourself researching or watching all the time or just scrolling through social media? It doesn't mean that you're going to be locked into like talking about one thing forever, but this is just a question to ask yourself, so that way you can kind of gauge like topics to talk about here, like on your YouTube channel, on any social media platform, or what do you find yourself giving advice to people about, or what do they come to you for? I really enjoy talking about business and branding or brand strategy. And I also love talking about like personal development, things like that. I went through a transformation in 2020, where I went through a lot of personal growth. So personal growth became a lot or a big part of my journey. So if I was to ask myself that question of like, what type of content do I enjoy watching and, listening to and talking about, and things that I could talk about forever, it would be things about like mindset and personal development or journaling. I know that my audience also enjoys talking about their small business, like showing the behind the scenes of their small business, talking about their products and services, not only because, they create products and services, but it's a part of them. It's a part of their art. You want to make sure that you actually care about these topics, because eventually you'll either burn out from it or you just won't want to even talk about it because it's not relevant to you. So make sure you're picking topics that feel relevant to you and that really inspire you. And hear me out, because I want to say this. Even if you do pick a topic and you realize later on that, like, oh, this topic isn't for me, you can change it. You're not like locked into talking about this forever. So don't feel like you are doing something wrong by talking about it and then you have to change it a little bit later. But I would just say give it a little bit of time, test it out and try it. And if it just feels like it's not you, then it's okay. You can always replace it with something else. Step 3 is about niching. And I know somebody out there is probably looking like, oh God, not this whole thing about niching. But I just want to let you know that niching down is not a bad thing. I think we need to change the narrative of what niching down actually is and what it means. So when I learned it from a brand strategist who actually, broke it down for me and really like made it make sense. Now when I hear people talking about niching and they're like, no, I don't want to niche. I want to go off and do this and I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that. And I'm like, technically, it's still niching. If people are telling you like, oh, just pick a topic and then pick a group of people and then talk about these things, like it's still technically niching down. You are talking to a certain group of people, you are talking to them about these few topics, and that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But like, you don't have to just talk about one thing and you don't have to just be locked into that one thing. I couldn't imagine sitting here only talking to you about like business and brand strategy like all the time. And the niche that I decided to create was talking to early stage or new small business owners, new entrepreneurs who are just starting out, who want to build their brand, their business, and they want to create a community. They want to create something that truly fulfills them and that they actually enjoy waking up and doing this every single day. Like that is a defined or detailed niche, and from there, then I talk about the topics that I talk about. So I think it's more than a lot of people, showcase. Like there's some steps to it, and I think people only see the part of like content or like the topics that they're talking about, the people that they're talking to, but it's more of like, here's the umbrella and then here is like the topics underneath the broader umbrella, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes sense. For step number 4, you might hear of this being called a few different things. You might hear of this being called like coming up with your target audience, creating a customer persona, or creating a ideal customer. So what I like to say is like my ideal customer or my ideal audience. So, or the way that I came up with my ideal audience was to first just dream them up. Like imagine who that dream customer would be for you. Like, what are they like? What is their name? You get to pick the name. You get to pick, around like what age they might be in, what their interests are, what their hobbies are. And you get to come up with a customer that best suits your brand, your business, your products, your services, the ideal person that you think would be interested in what you have to offer. And I'm gonna just tell you now, like everybody is not created the same. Everybody is not going to buy from you. This is something that I had to learn. Not everybody wants or needs your product. And I know that could sound so mean, and it doesn't mean that they won't buy it. It doesn't mean that, people don't need it. It just means that not everybody is going to do that. And I think the more that we understand that, the better it gets. I cannot tell you the freedom that I feel now. And I don't feel so scared to put my products out there. I don't feel bad about talking about my products and my services online. There's no shame or guilt behind it because I'm trying to get people to buy from me. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm creating products and services for my ideal customer, for people that I believe would be the ideal person for my brand, my business, my products, my services, anything that I offer. And it started with me dreaming up who this person was. I sat with it. I thought about, how old they were. I thought about their name even, what are their hobbies? What are their interests? And when I came up with this, I came up with my ideal customer's name is Stephanie P. I just named her that. I have no idea why. The name just came to me and it fit. So Stephanie P, she is in a relationship. She's been in a long-term relationship. She has one kid. She makes anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year. She loves to draw. She likes to read. She is a very creative person. She's also into like journaling and meditating and things like that. And the more that this person felt like me, years ago. And let's say, for example, maybe you had eczema growing up and now you create skincare because you discovered a secret formula to healing your eczema. So now you create skincare for people with eczema. It would make sense to maybe think about yourself and creating a persona around your past self and using that person as an ideal customer. What I did was I started searching like comment sections. That's where I really did a lot of my market research, was the comment sections, and visiting people's profiles and stuff like that. After I would read their comment and they would say things like, I just want to build a business that's fun. I don't want to do all of this. I don't want to have all these rules, especially on Instagram. I saw that a lot. Like, I don't want to have all these rules. I just want to build a business that feels fun. I don't need a 6-figure business or anything like that. I just want to create a business where I'm making enough money to sustain what I'm doing over time, and live comfortably, of course. But these are things that I saw and I'm like, yes, I align with that. I align with what they're saying. This feels like my ideal customer. So what I dreamed up, I put a lot of those things together, the tangible things that people were saying. And I'm like, this would fit in with my ideal customer. This would fit in with them. And over time, this person just came to life, Stephanie P. The Stephanie came to life for me. And I started to really get an idea of who Stephanie is. And I started to get an idea of content Stephanie would enjoy seeing. And I got an idea of products or services that Stephanie would enjoy. So now when I'm creating anything, it revolves around myself, and things that I actually want to create. But it mainly revolves around Stephanie, my ideal customer. I'm not thinking about everybody else who doesn't want this. Stephanie is going to want this because, this is for Stephanie. Stephanie has said what she wanted, and now I'm creating things that Stephanie wants. So does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if this is making sense. I started off on Instagram and I think I started at the same time. I started my Instagram and my YouTube at the same time, but I realized quickly that I didn't really care for Instagram, and I am a long form content kind of girl. Like, that is my jam. That's where I feel like I thrive better at, to be able to do these longer form videos. So I ditched Instagram, and not that Instagram is bad. I realized that it wasn't for me, and that's okay. And you might realize that after you've done a podcast that you don't like podcasting. So maybe you want to be over here on TikTok instead. Or maybe you realize that Instagram isn't your thing either, and maybe you want to go on YouTube. Like, I think that it's important to kind of test things out and see which one is best for you. But I would say really focus on like, what platforms do you consume the most? Think about what platforms you would genuinely like to create on. And if you like a slower paced or faster paced, and depending on that, you might like more long form content, which is like a YouTube channel, having a podcast, writing a blog. Or maybe you like more faster paced, like social media, like Instagram, or maybe even a TikTok. You get to decide what platform you want to be on. I would just say pick something and stick to it for a few months to a year, really giving it some time to test it out and see which one is really for you. And I guarantee you're going to realize which one is for you. I realized pretty quickly that Instagram just wasn't for me. And I'm like, no, I'm having a way better time on my YouTube channel. I don't have a large following here on YouTube just yet. It's coming though. I pray on it. It's coming. But I will say that, like, I think I still grew faster here on YouTube, which was crazy to me because I assumed that I was going to get a larger following over on Instagram, and that just did not happen. So I was like, you know what? I like it better over here on YouTube. This makes me feel better. I get to just have my long form videos. I get to talk. I won't say as much as I want because, still need the retention on the videos and people to pay attention to them, but I still feel like I get more of my thoughts and my ideas and everything out, and I'm able to really put together videos that I thoroughly enjoy versus the fast pace, like, few seconds of like Instagram and stuff like that. But I know for a lot of other people that might work because they don't have a lot of time to do something like this, because let me tell you, YouTube, oh my god, it takes a lot of work to do this. But again, I enjoy it. I personally have the time to do it, so that's why I do it. But even if you feel like you don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to something like YouTube, but you still want to try and do it, I'll just say you can think about it just like doing 4 videos a month, 1 video a week, which is what I do now. And I've been doing this ever since I started. I've been trying to like throw 2 videos in there a week, and it's not working yet. So I just like to maintain, and I'm working on maintaining the consistency of just doing 1 video a week. And if you want to try it, but it's just, 1 video a week is even too much, you can even start with 2 videos a month, do a bi-weekly thing, and, get started on YouTube if that's what you truly, truly want to do. It's up to you. That's how you create consistency, picking something and sticking to doing that, not what everybody else is telling you. It's what you are able to manage. Step 6 is coming up with your content ideas or content pillars, brand pillars, whatever you want to call them. So the way that I was able to come up with my content pillars was to basically take all of the things that we just talked about. So all of like learning about myself, my values and everything like that, understanding who my audience was, defining my niche, realizing my soft skills, my hard skills, things that I'm good at, things that I might not be good at, like just realizing all of these things really helped me to narrow down a few different content ideas or topics that I really truly enjoy talking about. So my content pillars are mindset and personal growth, business and brand strategy, my self-care and well-being journey, and the last pillar is behind the scenes of building my brand and business. I also had a 5th pillar, but I quickly realized that having 5 pillars was a little bit too much for me, so I got rid of that pillar. I believe it was called like organization and habit building, because I wanted to show like me organizing my dream apartment and everything like that, and my dream house, whatever. I just wasn't there yet. Might I bring that pillar back later on in life? Maybe. But I realized that I wasn't that, and I realized that I could just kind of throw that in there, like in some of my other pillars that I have. The way that I was able to pick these pillars was to really choose pillars that I felt like aligned with me, things that I, had skills or some type of expertise in. And when I say expertise, again, I mean like things that I've learned over the years, things that I've taught myself, things that I've learned from school, things that I've just picked up from watching social media so much, and YouTube University here. And I feel confident and comfortable enough to talk about those things and things that have really helped me to get to where I'm at now. So in my mindset and personal development pillar, the reason why I chose that pillar is because I have been journaling over the last 3 to 4 years. And I felt like it was important for me to talk about a lot of the things that really helped me to get to the point where I'm at now with my mindset. And I've really been at this entrepreneurship thing for a very long time. So the reason why I chose my business and brand strategy pillar is because I wanted to give, advice and some inspiration, some guidance on how to actually, build a business and create actual brand strategy. And I mean like step by step by step brand strategy. I've learned all of this over the years. So why not tell it to you guys, all of the steps that I took to get to where I'm at today. You don't always have to like be teaching in your content pillars, because I know I don't. Even though I say like I'm a strategist and a mentor, I don't necessarily like to say that I'm like a teacher or whatever. So it's not how I like to be, which is why I'm like casually here right now, slouching on my bed. But anywho, for the last pillar that I wanted to cover was my self-care and well-being journey. I'm just talking about like my personal growth journey in this pillar. I don't teach it or anything like that. I don't know if I could teach it. I guess maybe I could, but I wanted something that shared a little bit of my personal life and my personal journey. I enjoy talking about things outside of business. So I thought that this would be helpful to other people who are also on a personal growth journey, who are trying to, who are just starting out in their businesses and everything, other entrepreneurs who are just starting out. I know that they're also going through a lot of personal changes and a lot of personal growth. So I really felt like having a pillar like this could be more like motivational or inspirational. So this pillar isn't necessarily to teach people anything, more so to just inspire people through my personal growth journey. So you can have a mixture of pillars like this, where some of them might be inspirational, motivational, entertaining. Maybe they might even be promotional to showcase your brand and business, like my behind the scenes of my business. Even though it is kind of inspirational too, I'm not always trying to like sell in that, but it does allow for me to like sell my business without being too salesy, and other small business owners and entrepreneurs can see what I'm doing behind the scenes and we can just connect in that way. So these are all the steps that I took to be able to get to the point where I'm at now, where I have like a long list of content ideas, and maybe I'll put them up here on the screen for you to be able to see my Trello board, where I took these 4 pillars that I have now and I just brainstormed content ideas. I created a free workbook for you guys that you can download today. It's in the link below. And this PDF guide is basically going to walk you through all the things that I just said in this video. It takes you step by step by step. All these steps that I just said, it asks you all the questions that you need to know in order to build your brand, your business, to get your content ideas started, to get your first 4 like content ideas for each one of your content pillars. So you're going to come up with 16 content ideas by the time you're done with this. It's going to just walk you through all of these things that I just said in this video. And I know that a lot of people don't want to subscribe to like email lists and things like that, but hear me out, because it's going to be so worth it. I'm very proud of the emails that I created to go along with this workbook. I love writing emails. I use my brand and business as a case study in these emails to really help you to understand the steps that I took in order to get to where I'm at today. And I really hope that these emails are like a guide to you. So they're not just emails, they are literally the guide to the workbook. The Passion to Profit workbook, the download will be in the description box below. I'll leave a link for you. I would so appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Where she goes is mystery. There's a void inside of me, 'cause I know this is a dream. It's the matrix now I see. Still my body moves unconsciously.